This joy shall come in the morning, the hope, the peace. It's actually here all the time. It's in the air we breathe. It's in the energy of the sun, energy of the moon. It's in the energy that we project into the universe with our heart. Are we able to see it and feel it and experience it? Yesterday evening, I found that I was made aware that Cody Walter passed away yesterday. And Linda is in very much grief. And every one of us has been in that darkness of grief as we've lost a loved one. Every single one of us. But this will pass. And it's important that we support each other in these times when our hearts are heavy with grief. And be there and have the light that sooner or later that member of our family who is in grief will see that light, will have joy and peace and hope. So let's cast our love and our energy out to people who are here in our family. Sherry, and Tiffany, and Linda, and anyone else who is carrying that burden of grief. We all know what it feels like. Let's have a moment and just shed our light and our energy and our hope. Joy shall come in the morning when we see the light. And so it is.
Good morning. It's funny, grieving was my secondary topic, so I'm going to save that one for a future topic. What came to me, Pat asked me rather late, normally I have a little more time to prep, but this one had been sitting on my thing. Here we are, it's March, that's 1/6 of the way through the year, and we're coming up on spring. Friendly reminder to those of us who might be unplugged from appointments that next weekend is daylight saving time. If you come at your normal time, you will be an hour late. Set your reminders, however you need to do that, to remind yourself to come an hour earlier. It will be more daylight and we can enjoy that, a little bit more spring. What my topic is today is, I got to thinking, something didn't work very well for me in the past. A lot of folks will do New Year's resolutions. Around here we have the burning bowl. Numbers behind resolutions, the positive numbers are somewhere between 9 to 16% of people who make resolutions get through their list. Most of them fail. There's actually a quitter's holiday of the second Friday in January. Okay, that's how big a failure rate it is. And in meaning to do better and trying to do better, we have these wonderful organizers who will sell us all kinds of things that help us be more on track. One of those things that I used to actually, do with great futility was list making. Okay. Through the night, round the clock, you think you're doing something to help your productivity. On the back of envelopes, long sheets of paper, long lists of all this stuff I needed to get done. And I don't know how many hours I wasted making those lists, okay? And those long lists, you would never expect a stranger to get it done. And yet the message in the head was always not good enough, you didn't do enough, you should have done more, blah, 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 blah. And yet here I was grinding out more lists because that's how we're more productive. So somewhere along the way, somebody gave me a tool and allowed me to make the list. Okay, sometimes you do it like on a big sheet of paper, like for a placemat, or just your normal binder paper, whatever you got handy. Go ahead and make the list. And but Write down everything you think you want to get done. And then on that list, pick out 3 things you can realistically get done today. 3 things. Pick out 2 more just in case you had a wonderful day. Give those 2 more. Okay, and write that on the other side of the paper. Okay? You're going to turn the paper over. I have a real hard time with patriarchal and gender pronouns referring to my higher power. Okay, I feel anytime we use a gender pronoun, it alienates half of humanity, and that doesn't work for me because my creator is way bigger than that. So in your heart, whatever language you need to use to access creator, the force, whatever your spirit is, you use that language. But for me, creator, because it's way bigger than plumbing, okay, for how I access. But that act of taking the paper, I'm turning it over to that higher power. I'm turning it over to God, creator, however you refer to. And what happens in there, in that turning it over? Because honestly, there is no way this human being could get all of that done today. And I'm setting myself for a constant message of failure. I'm also meditating on fear because anxiety is a meditation upon fear. And I'm reinforcing the wavelength up here that talks to the universe that you're not going to get it done. There's no way you can get it done. You're a failure. You're a quitter. You never, you're less than, wah. And then that radio station's playing up here. And the universe says yes to whatever's going on here. What I have found, personal experience, is when I turn it over, not only will I get those 3 things done, I almost always get 5 done. And Creator took care of several on the other side while I wasn't worried about it. Okay? Futility, that list making. I made endless lists on finances when I was worried. I'm meditating upon fear. I'm meditating upon lack. And what does Creator do? It says, yes, I'll give you more of that. That's where you're at. If I'm grateful and I turn it over, it takes care of itself. I can trust and believe. And my Creator, my God, has got me no matter what. Give it a try. Thanks.
Well, I can do what I did last week. I just go back, sit down. We're done. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
I like springtime like this, when you just never know. You have to carry a whole ensemble of wardrobe in the car all the time. Shorts and mukluks and a big heavy jacket and a t-shirt. It just reminds me that, wow, everything's changing rapidly. And that's just the way life is. The seasons are a perfect reminder for us. Okay, let's talk about stuff that's not like a message. Thanks everyone who showed up. How many showed up for Friday for a Ring Out Danger? We had a multitude. Thank you very much.
Multitude of 3.
Okay, very excellent. First Friday of every month, we ring that bell for 5 minutes to make a noise onto the universe and into our community that say.
I just wanted to let people know that for the first time in Ringing Out Danger, we took about 20 seconds and all 3 of us who were there put our energies together.
Whoa.
And it really felt special. I really enjoyed that. You should see it. I think so.
Oh, thank you. That's today it's the whole day is one message. It just is. Thank you. So this coming Sunday will be a board meeting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And then we'll have the rest of the month, I don't know, Wayne sent out a great newsletter. I just don't remember everything that was on it for some reason. But I have it.
We'll have a potluck.
We'll have a potluck. Oh yes, the end of the month. Something I'd like to remind people of, just talk about a little bit. I'm disorganized a bit. Thursday, 10 a.m. Spiritual book study. What's Thursday? This one coming up? Okay. Monday,
That'll be, the 11th.
the 11th and the 20-something this.
Yeah, the 25th, I wanna say.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Spirit, healing circle,
Here in Sanctuary, 7 p.m.
7 p.m. on Monday. Back in the back, there's a bookshelf. I don't know if anybody's noticed it. It just kind of blends in back there right under John Lennon's picture. But that's kind of like a little library. And you're welcome to borrow the books in it. You can take the books, bring another one of a different kind back. You can, if you see somebody that should read something that you know, take it and gift it to somewhere. It's all about sharing. It doesn't make any difference if you bring it back or not. You can get what you need and pass it on, bring it back, whatever. And another thing that we have that I don't remind us about, on that table right inside the door, there's an old black box with a slot in the top that says suggestions and ideas. And you can take your order of service with a piece of paper and write down any suggestion or ideas. You don't have to sign it. If you want to have some fun, write somebody else's name on it, or put it in there. It's just perfectly okay, but it's like, and the few times that we have gotten those, and the people who have written and put it in there, we some weeks, I forget to check it, but we take action very quickly. We do pay attention. There was something else I was going to talk about, but does anybody have anything that they'd like to announce? Any other announcements? I have one more announcement I'd like to make. Dick Meyer, thank you very much for speaking last week. It was a wonderful message, and I'm going to go use it as the foundation for today's message. And Wayne, thank you. And Catherine did the mini message. And Natalie did the meditation. So, if anybody knows a good therapist, I'd sure like the number. I think I'm ready. So let's stand up and sing. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Opportunity to greet each other in the traditional Church of the Oaks fashion.
let's say Sunday.
You're in the epitome of ever. Look at who's actually here. Sometimes I suppose, but I can't.
How about a deep breath and just breathe in that joy that we just experienced. I'm going to ask you to, again, like I do many, many times, look around the room. Just sit and just twist your head around and look. That's our abundance. Each other. And all we have to do is remind ourselves to be aware of it. It's a huge bank account of acceptance and love and a shoulder to cry on. Whether you're the crier or the shoulder, we all take turns doing that. We all have a wonderful opportunity to share all the good stuff that we are with each other. That's true abundance, my friends. And when we are aware of that, and when we can share that, I think that's another time when we wake up and we have one of those experiences. So let's read together, if we will, the affirmation of abundance on August 1st. To realize an abundant life, one must practice giving, receiving, and gratitude. May we ponder that wisdom, sir. As we prepare for meditation, let's sing together, I close myself safely round, number 66 in Wings.
I found myself Here we are again, together in light and spirit. Please join me in 3 deep breaths. A breath to align with spirit. A breath to feel the energy of our deepest love. A breath to connect to universal consciousness. If you choose, you may call in your spirit guides, ancestors, and angels. Give up your tense mind chatter with each breath. And remember that you are the gift life gives to itself. With each breath, be filled with the universal flow of energy that says yes. Yes to love. Yes to being in connection with the all. Yes to light. Fill up with warmth, ease, quiet. Stay in this comfort as you listen for the voice of wisdom within. Now that we know that we are held in sweet consciousness, let's step lightly into our deep, quiet place of meditation. We are the light. We are the love. Let us share today and on from here.
Last Sunday, I did something that I haven't done for 7 years. I actually sat in the congregation when I had the day off. It was quite refreshing, actually. I heard a great message, I heard great meditation, great mini message. And I had no responsibility to speak. I could just suck it up. And I'm glad I did. Because almost every Sunday, as I go home, I think, well, I told them everything I know. I gotta learn some new stuff for next week. And I heard a message last week that just built a fire in me. Dick's message was simply, wake up. Those times when we experience our oneness with Spirit, with each other, our connection, our divine connection. And I think that we've all had those, or we wouldn't be sitting here. Every one of us has tasted that delicious of being in Spirit, being part of, and being aware of that. But sometimes I think, the window broke in the car. We had to go to the emergency room. Car had a flat tire. The electric was off. You had to go get some ice and put in the cooler so you didn't lose everything in the refrigerator and the freezer. Life gets really cumbersome sometimes. Requires a lot of attention that helps us be distracted a little bit, and sometimes a lot, from our awareness that we are divine. We are connected. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's only experiences that we can relish in. And I thought that at the time, wouldn't it be great if we made a list of these awakening experiences that we've had? And just, I don't know, put it somewhere that you look at it a lot of time. Maybe on the closet door. Maybe when you open the cupboard door and there's a coffee pot and the coffee to put in the pot. Just kind of glance through it, just remind ourselves of what amazing experiences we have had. And I'm going to list some that I've had, but maybe they'll remind you of some that you have had. I can remember when I was 17 years old, we finished building the sanctuary at Faith Methodist Church in North Canton, Ohio. And I was the first one that walked in it. I had lots of little titles and wore lots of great hats as a 17-year-old in this little church. But Bob Hibbard gave me the keys, says, go on in and let me know what it feels like. We had a lot of blue stained glass in that first church. And I went in and I sat down and I just experienced my purpose. I took the scenic route to get here. But this is finally, after all these decades, all the different roads and alleys that I've been down. But I knew it when I was 17 years old, sitting in that blue light of that sanctuary. Another time when I had one of those awakening experiences, I'd taken my wife to the hospital. It was time. She was great with child and had the swaddling clothes and everything ready. And we got to the hospital and called Dr. Tommy Osborne. He said, "Oh, it's going to be hours, Joyce. Just relax. I'm going downstairs and take a nap in Iola, Kansas, in this little hospital." He went down the basement, went to sleep. An hour later, we're sitting in the get ready to go room, just her and me, and she's laying down. I'm sitting in a folding chair, and she says, "Oh my, something's going on." And I looked, and there's a head and one shoulder, and I delivered my first daughter. I'm hollering to the nurse, "Hey, hey, help!" And after Shauna was out and crying, she came in, the nurse came in, and we rolled the whole ensemble down the hall to the delivery room. That was one of those moments. And anybody that's done that knows exactly what I'm talking about. And 10 years later, I was in the delivery room with my second wife and my second daughter on the way. But I was just an observer. I had on all this stuff. And the doctor said, "Now, you can get up here as close as you want, you can sit down." And I said, "Oh, I'm okay." I said, "I delivered the first one all by myself." And he said, "Oh, well, would you like me to assist you?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I'm here if you need me." And I had that opportunity. Those moments. I was in Belize. This is about 1995, maybe, 94, 95. And I had always come back to California to hang out with my girlfriend over Christmas. And that didn't work out that year. And I was out at my secretary and her husband's house, out on a place that had no water, no electricity, right on the Caribbean. It was called La Isla. It was down in the swamps. You had to drive or ride a horse because the alligators would eat you. They'd go on through the swamp to get to their house. And it was strange because we had like a party, and it was mostly cooking and drinking. But then I went out and they had a hammock set up right up. The pole, one pole was in the water, and I just got in that hammock. And I spent Christmas Eve and well into Christmas morning just being nature. And really, really connected with the entire universe. Maybe one of the best Christmas experiences I have had. I was so disappointed I wasn't in California, but something much greater happened. Are you thinking about experiences like that you've had? They call them mystical experiences, or what's the other thing, 12 days after Christmas, the Epiphanies. And we all have those. I spoke a few weeks ago about how I was curious. I've been pondering for years why we didn't attract more people who could certainly use a very safe and accepting place. And I suggested that we talk about that at the, let the universe know collectively that we're here, we're safe, we're accepting, we're loved, we're family. And we did, we talked about it at coffee. Every week since that day, people have shown up who could use that. And when I think about the connection we have with Spirit, with God, with the universe, whatever you want to call it, when we're connected with the unseen energy that makes everything in the world happen, there is nothing so humbling and empowering at the same moment. Wow. I hope you all make a list of things and write it down so you remind yourself. Oh, wow. As I think back, as I'm standing here speaking, it's like my breath goes away in awe of the experiences that I've had. And I'm just naming a few that are just coming out of my head. I've seen so many seeds planted in this little community right here. Some didn't work out, okay? But some have continued to bloom daily, year after year after year. An interesting quote I saw somewhere, I guess Eckhart Tolle. Adversity is a spiritual adversity. Adversity is a spiritual awakening in every soul. Every time we come up to a challenge or a perplexing moment or a frustrating moment, there's an opportunity to connect with Spirit. And it's through gratitude in the present moment that the spiritual dimension of life opens up to us. That's why gratitude is so important. We talk about it almost every week. Because when you're there, what did I say, Jeff? You're in the sally port of going into the place where you are aware of the unseen. There are other times when adversity has befallen me, and I'm sure you, where it makes me wake up and think beyond and be aware of beyond my present intention, my ego. Many times, Vivian would want to read my talk before I gave it. This is back in the early days. And I labor hours putting together a 15-minute talk. And I drive out to Oakland. Here you are. Oh, this is a keeper here. She'd look at it. She said, wow. She'd tear it up. So I'm very disappointed. You can do a lot better. Kick me in the face. But at that moment, I understood. I was trying to let my intellect make this beautiful creation of wisdom. And I was blocking out the real purpose of my talk. I was blocking out the source, the wisdom, by my ego-driven intellect. There's a quote about that somewhere here. That doesn't make any difference. When we think about these awakening moments, I think they're designed to come little bits at a time. Somebody real smart, way smarter than me, said that if we reached in 1 minute total enlightenment and understood the unseen, we'd probably just explode. Our minds, our brains, our whole physiological being just isn't equipped to handle that. We're supposed to get it little bits at a time. And when we understand one thing, pretty soon there'll be another possibility to understand something else. My dad used to tell me, he told me a lot of things, but one of the things he said that it just went away. I'm sorry, that thought just disappeared. After he'd warned my hind end for doing something that was improper and unacceptable, he put his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Now, I want you to know that the lessons that hurt you the most are the ones you remember the longest." And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. Some of the things that we've done that we go home and we feel really bad about. Really shouldn't have done that. That was very hurtful. Those are the ones that we subconsciously become aware of as we just walk and talk down the road. And all of us have been there. Is there anyone here who hasn't gotten home from someplace and said, "Oh my God, I shouldn't have said that"? It's the dumbest, worst, most hurtful thing. I'm so embarrassed. And I can't take it back. Has anybody not said that? We're people. And we start off learning. First breath. Some people say before a first breath. It's a constant experience. I like to tell people I'm in that awkward stage of life, right there between birth and death. Because it's always awkward. It always is. And I think it's supposed to be, my friends. I think this life experience is supposed to be full of bumps and bruises and giggles and laughs and loves and losts. And every one of those experiences helps us, gives us the opportunity to have a wake-up experience, to be aware of the divine, to be aware of the power of spirit that's all around us all the time, inside of us, outside of us. Unless we wake up and see it. I thought for 100 hours about what Dick said last week, and I don't think I'm going to stop thinking about what Dick said last week. Wake up. Wake up. I almost had a mystical experience yesterday. I decided to clean out my closet where my neckties are. I've got 167 neckties. And I got them all out on the bed. And underneath where the neckties and the dress shirts are, there was stuff, because my closet's it's got shelf drawers under it until this high. It's my short closet. I found cobwebs, spider webs. I found papers. I found orders of service. from 2004. Yeah. Shows you how tidy I am. And I was going to clean it all up, and I looked at it, and at 11 o'clock last night, I was still looking at it. So I'm gonna put up a new 150 tie rack up there. And I was looking at it. So today, I'm gonna go home and have the mystical experience of cleaning the closet and letting go, releasing all that junk that I've been safekeeping for decades. And some Deepak says awakening is not changing who you are, but discarding who you are not. That's something to ponder for a while. So again, I'm going to ask you to give some thought to making a list of these little wake-ups that all of us have had. And when you remind yourself, you're knocking the dust off the awareness. All of a sudden, Dancing with the Stars isn't your focus. Your focus is something very, very valuable. This life experience that we have. And that ties in with what Sabrina was saying this morning. It ties in with our meditation. It allows each one of us that little, extra little tidbit of stuff that we've got taped to the cupboard wall, the cupboard door, to remind us we are spiritual beings having amazing experiences. And as we go through these experiences, we're going to hear some wonderful words. We're going to have some wonderful experiences. We're going to have a bunch of wake-up moments, a bunch of awareness moments, a bunch of opportunities to elevate our consciousness. And that's why I thought that was a great segue into our last song, The Wonderful Words of Life. So let's grab our Windsor song and turn to 190 and stand up, sing these wonderful words of life, and then let's go over and have some wonderful fellowship in our hall. Shall we?
Has such value, we put a dollar sign in front of it.
Thank you.